Right now, I'm taking my curved ruler and I'm setting it on her nose bridge. I want to find where the center of her forehead is. So the center of her forehead should be aligned with the widow's peak. And so when I have found that center part, I want to mark down my 0 on my curved ruler. I do like using a plastic curved ruler for myself. I find it's easier. And right now I'm marking down my 1 on each side. And that will tell me not to go any closer together than the 1. I also want to mark down my 1.5 on each side, and that will tell me not to go any further apart than 1.5 for my bulbs. Right now I'm looking for the arch placement, and the arch placement should be about 4.5 and 5. So I marked down both those markings so I know exactly where my arch will be. And then I'm marking down 6.5 and 7. And that will tell me where my tails will end. I'm repeating these steps onto the other side. I'm taking my brow mapping string from Minx Brows, and it has pigment on it, so now I'm taking those lines that I have made and I'm bringing them down towards the brows. That way I know where my measurements should end and where they should start. As I am doing this, I'm deciding exactly where the bulbs should start, where my arches will peak, and where my brows will end, which is why there's 2 markings for each part of the brow. I will have to say that this is my own technique of brow mapping. It may be different than any other brow mapping technique out there, but this is how I do it and how it works for me. This is not exactly how everyone else does it, but it works for me how I do it this way. The most important part of the brow for me is the tail. So I need to find where the tragus part of the ear is, and I go all the way up to the arch of the brow. And that way I know my tail will never go below that line. Right now I'm trying to use my string to find the symmetry of the height of her brows. It is important that when you're trying to find symmetry, your client is sitting upwards and her eyes are open and not closed. When her eyes are closed, you may not be able to see the proper symmetry, and when she opens her eyes, one may be higher than the other. So it's important that they are looking straight forward. What I'm doing now is double checking the bottom of her bulbs are in the right place by seeing the symmetry and making a line, and seeing if the top of the bulbs are in the right place if they're aligned. And that string will tell me if they are in line with each other. As I am making the same exact measurements and markings on the other side of her face, I want to know, what are your struggles when it comes to brow mapping? What do you struggle with? If you want to comment below on what you want me to touch base on next video, that'd be amazing. So to find that top line, I'm going from the bottom of the right brow to the top of the left brow. And I go straight across, right across to the top arch, and that will be the top line. I'm doing the exact same thing, going to the bottom of the left to the top of the right, and that will be my top line of the other brow. It should make a nice X in the little rectangle box in the middle of her brows. Right now, I'm trying to see if her face is symmetrical, and it's not, because I can see her left side of her face protrudes out more, and the right side of her face is a little bit flatter. Also, one of her eyes is higher than the other. I believe that her left eye is a little bit lower, and her right eye is a little bit higher up. So when our client's face is unsymmetrical and one of her eyes is higher than the other, we then know that one of her brows will be now placed higher than the other. So even with our brow mapping, because our brow mapping is perfectly symmetrical, if a client's eyes is unsymmetrical, one is higher than the other, then the brows must follow. If the brows do not follow, then there will be more skin gap between her eye to the eyebrow than the other side. That is a little bit lower. So when a client's eyes are not level to each other, we'll then have to change our eyebrow mapping to make one brow slightly lower to match the lower eye. And that will become more symmetrical to their eye and their face. Right now, I'm just cleaning off all the extra markings on her face so I don't get confused on what part is part of the brow and what is not. And I want to take my pencil and fill in that outline. I'm taking my Sharpie marker from Minx Brows and I'm just filling in my outline and making everything darker. I also use an applicator Q-tip that is from Superstore to clean up any sort of mistakes. Notice that as I am filling in her eyebrows, I always make sure to stretch her skin so I can get nice horizontal lines. And I can clean off easily when her skin is stretched as well. Sometimes I find when people have a little bit of unsymmetrical features in their face, it does take me a little bit longer. So this entire process, probably without filming, would have took me about half an hour to 45 minutes. But that's only because I'm a perfectionist. Sometimes I do things a little bit slower. But some people who are a little bit more symmetrical, I can bang out a nice shape within 20 to 30 minutes. So this is the final shape. We did go with something that is not too arch, more of a soft arch, because she does have more of a stronger jawline, more of a square face shape, and she was very happy with this shape. This is just the pencil outline, so now we can actually proceed into the tattooing process. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you'd like to see more videos like this or any other suggestions, thank you for watching.